soil is not just one thing. Soil is actually a huge diversity of things. And there are very many different soils on Earth according to soil forming factors that are active in any one location. So here in the subtropical forest in Japan, you're going to find completely different soils than in Berlin because, well, the vegetation is quite different. It's subtropical vegetation. Also, there is quite different parent material. The climate is different. And, well, here you also have relief, so you have a lot of slope positions that also determines what kind of soils you're going to have here. So no matter where you are on Earth and where you walk around, you're going to encounter different soils just because there's all kinds of combinations of these soil forming factors that are active at any one location. And of course, another very important soil forming factor is human activity. So you have different plants planted, you have land use changed depending on where you are, or you have different pollutants entering the soil. So there's a huge variety of also human influences that determine what kind of soil you have. And finally, you have time. So there's very young soils and there is very, very old soils as well. Soils that can be thousands of years old and soil that has been maybe very recently produced. And all of that gives rise to, as you can imagine, an almost infinite variety of different soils on different parts of the planet. As you can imagine, the most dominant soil forming factor is, of course, climate. So the climate determines, by and large, what kind of order of soil you have on the planet. So like here where it's warm and moist, you're gonna most likely have much deeper soils than when it's relatively cold, for example, because then weathering cannot really go and transform the parent material very deep. So all things equal, you're going to have much more developed and deeper soils anyway in where it's warm and also where there's enough water available to do the weathering. And then on a much more local scale, you're going to have things like relief. This is, for example, the position on the slope. As you can see behind me, at the very top of the slope, you're going to have actually different soil than at the bottom of that slope, because material sort of moves down the slope and accumulates on the bottom. So you're going to typically have deeper soils at the bottom of a slope than at the top of a slope. Another factor that can vary fairly locally is vegetation. So here where you have a bunch of ferns, the soil are going to be quite different than on some other bits here where you have trees. And so because there's going to be different litter input, so different amounts of organic matter put into the soil, that will also lead to the formation of quite different soils. Fairly close to each other locally, maybe same parent material, definitely same climate, but you have quite a difference in the vegetation from one spot to the next. Yeah, so unfortunately this doesn't jump out at you quite as much as the above ground vegetation and birds and things like that, but next time you move around, maybe wonder also what kind of soils are you going to have there and what is different from one location to another location. And with that, see ya.